Hello! Welcome to White Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. All right, so I am going to be looking into the September just random energy check-in for Cancer. All right, Cancers, how are you guys doing? Let us see what is going on with the Cancerians. What was the stuff that I was picking up on before? I have the memory of a goldfish, so I can't really recall what I read for you guys before, but I guess this is the collective, so I'm not always going to be hitting the same people, but we'll see if this aligns for you at all. Cancer. What's going on with the Cancers? Oh, Two of Wands. On the precipice of a decision, are we? Five of Pentacles. Saying goodbye to something, are we? That just popped up in the Gemini reading, too. Oh, High Priestess is back as well. Huh. And the Empress is back. That's wild. I shuffled, and I'm getting a bunch of cards that just came out in the Okay. Eight of Wands, Four of Swords, Seven of Cups, Four of Pentacles. Cancer, are you okay? Strength. Okay. All right. I like the overarching energies on this. Okay, so the Empress and the High Priestess and the Strength card feel like they kind of umbrella the whole process. Don't know how to explain it. I just feel it. Anyway, four of Pentacles. Oh, okay. So it feels like this starts with the Eight of Wands. Something sudden, something abrupt, something just happened. And that put you into a Wands mode where you're like, and Four of Swords mode, where you're contemplating, healing, not making any moves because you feel the need to preserve and hold on to something. But this Eight of Wands came with these I can't count, Seven of Cups, which is about an illusion, just kind of, well, it's about illusion, but this feels like illusion breaking. Then we have the Five of Pentacles. I'm gonna be honest, this feels like you've gained a higher perspective with the High Priestess, the Empress, and Strength here. It feels like you've gained a higher perspective and a higher sense of self-worth, and then something struck you and put you into questioning mode. Who wants to talk? Who wants to talk? Alchemy. I wish that I could be one of those like super aesthetic tarot readers and stuff, but I read like the crazy corkboard guys, so I wind up with decks everywhere. Decks everywhere. How do I even? Okay. I really like that they're just like different shapes, but also I really wish that they were easier to shuffle. Okay. All right. Alchemy. 3, That's where you want to break off. All right. We've got resin, Venus. Oh shit. And Raven's head. Okay. I remember that. I remember that. Okay. Come on. Get back in there. Okay. Let's start off with reading the alchemy cards. I like incorporating them because I feel like they give me better insight into what's going on. All right, resin. Holding, adhering, surrounding. That feels like it ties into this energy over here. Resin is a miraculous material. It offers both stability and transparency. For centuries, sculptors and archivists have used it to capture an object in time and place, preserving it for observation and or adoration. Envision a delicate insect or flower suspended in a paperweight, such as the alchemical energy of resin. Its qualities are protective, sealing, and hardening. When this card appears, there is a holding that's occurring, either literally or physically, or no, psychically. While well intended, someone may be limiting the one they wish to protect. There may be an aspect of nostalgia at work in the laboratory and unwillingness to let go or change. On the other hand, the resin card can indicate preservation of that which is most valued, a return to what's been lost. Huh. Venus. Pleasure, Eros, beauty. With the arrival of Venus, the senses open as if for the first time. It is the planet of pleasure, of touch, of sensual delights. Venus is often depicted as romance or eroticism between people, but it can also be experienced as an all out love affair with Mother Nature herself. Aphrodite emerging from the ocean is a classic example of Venus imagery, as is Cupid with his bow. No matter how old or jaded you are, when this card appears, it's a sign that attraction is at an all time high. The laboratory is alight with love. You may be in love with the work, with materials, with another person, or with the world itself. Seeing beauty in small moments is a sign Venus is in balance, an obligatory reminder that pleasure and pain are usually found intertwined. And the Raven head. Yeah. Hmm. Initiation, the ordeal, the work begins. Though alchemy is filled with a myriad of open ended symbols, the raven's head has a precise message. It arrives to mark the beginning of the work. This card indicates something has occurred, known or unknown, to initiate the spinning of the alchemical wheel. With its mighty churning, things are about to change on every level. The raven's work cannot be undone, just as the pill cannot be unswallowed or the pearl turned back to sand. You may be overwhelmed or think the journey ahead is not for you. Your doubts matter not to the raven, as its appearance signifies it has chosen you. You are ready, and the moment is now. Can you go back to the way things were? Can you pretend nothing has changed? The raven calls a clear no. It does not apologize, as it knows your destiny is great. Cancer. Cancer tends to not be very good at breaking hearts, tend to not like change very much because Cancer is kind of the Taurus of the water signs, with the hard shell and we tend to retreat into ourselves and we go home for comfort, right? How do I say this? It's almost okay. With Venus being here and the high priestess and the empress in strength, it's almost like you have gotten over here. You're like, I'm over here. And Venus, honestly, to me, it feels like self love than anything. It just feels like the self love card. in this context. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I don't know how to. This almost feels like you're just like, I'm too good for this. I'm too good for this. Like something happened, put you at a crossroads, illusion fell away. You saw things for how they were. Four of Swords, you went into contemplation. Four of Pentacles, you're still holding on though. But Five of Pentacles, you know it needs to end. And that's because you know deep down it doesn't meet your standards. And that's a really hard realization for a Cancerian to come to, because Cancerians, they tend to just, when they love people or really anything, they tend to mother it, nurture it. They want to take care of it. They feel responsible for it. Cancers tend not to know how to expect to be cared for in return. I tend to resonate a lot with the Cancerian energy because I am a Cancer rising myself. And that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing for a Cancerian to be like, actually this doesn't make me happy, because Cancers put themselves last. They tend to. And it's as heart-wrenching to a Cancer as it would be to the other person when a Cancer decides to end things, because I mean they're loyal AF. They are loyal and they will stick with you through anything. So even realizing, wait, this isn't nurturing me. The Cancer's thought process tends to be, and it doesn't have to. My needs don't matter. It's my job to take care of the other person. Fuck me. Like that's how Cancers tend to be. So when it finally hits them, it's devastating for them too. Like, I know it doesn't make sense to most people. Like, why are you sad? You're the one that dumped them. But it is sad because Cancers usually, even when they're dumping you, they still love you. And they still care about you. Actually, in my experience, I've had a harder time leaving people than I have being left. And I'm not even a full blown Cancer. I'm just a Cancer rising. But that's the work that's starting for you, isn't it? Putting yourself first for a change. This resin really feels like, well, first of all, it looks like an areola, but it feels like the shell that Cancer wears, the shell that holds everything in. But that's the work, right? Is to learn to spread out. And you know what? This might not even be you leaving someone or something. This could be you leaving your way of being. Either way, you're saying goodbye to something, and it's a hard goodbye. But it's coming from clear thinking. That's the thing. It's coming from self love. Wow. Well, it seems like since the like eclipse stuff started happening, and since the south node and the north node moved into Virgo and Pisces, it's almost like everybody's like usual uh what is it called, modus operandi, you know? Is that the word? Is that the correct word? I don't even remember. Anyway, everyone's like normal way of being, right, is just flipping. The Cancers are becoming more self-loving instead of self-sacrificing. uh, the Geminis are becoming more decisive rather than kind of, I hate to say wishy-washy, but like I it feels like everyone's changing almost into the polar opposite of what you'd expect of them. But I have a theory that every zodiac sign comes with a lesson, you know, that the stereotypes of each zodiac sign isn't meant to just be a stereotype and oh, that's how they are. It's supposed to be something that each of us have to overcome, like the Taurian stubbornness. Oh, yeah, that was a theme my entire life. I used to dig my heels in for the sake of digging my heels in. And especially once I realized I was wrong, I dug them in even deeper, and that's what tends to happen with Taurus people is that they don't like being wrong. But you know what? Sometimes we are. And the inability to accept that sometimes we're wrong and like that life or death feeling that we get when we are wrong, that comes from a lack of self love, right? A lack of self acceptance because someone that's accepted themselves has no problem admitting that they were wrong. It's not such a shameful, devastating thing. It just becomes a oopsie, I fucky wucky, because our entire identity doesn't count on being right all the time, right? So anyway, basically, what I'm saying is a Taurus that has learned how to love themselves and accept themselves for the freaking human beings that we are, they learn that not every battle is worth fighting, right? And so they start to learn how to pick their battles. And they become people that are capable of fighting to the death for the things that actually matter because now all of their energy is focused on that one thing. They become the bull with the matador. Like we lock in, and that is the hill that we're going to die on, but it's a hill that matters to us. And we know full well that this may be life or death, but win or lose, we are fighting to the death for it because it freaking matters to us. That's how an evolved Taurus is, right? We fight for what matters and we save our energy for the things that matter. Now in Cancerian's case, Cancers are loving, they are nurturing, they are kind of the mother archetype of the zodiac. And I think that the lesson for Cancers tends to be not to become the exhausted, battered mother. And that looks like what you're dealing with right now. You're learning that archetypal lesson. Well, good luck with that, Cancers. And share, comment to help me out with the algorithm. Subscribe and hit the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video. And I will see you in the next one.